As a huge fan of ReZero, I've always wondered about this question. How popular is ReZero? You may question my reason for asking this, and no, I don't derive my opinions for how good something is by how popular it is, or form certain feelings based on how popular my favorite anime is. What is genuinely important regarding popularity is the continued support of the series as it moves into its fourth season. Overall, what I'm saying is that it personally shouldn't matter how popular a series is. Rather, on a macroscopic scale, it should matter. Because popularity leads to a lot of things such as quality merchandise, collaborations, and obviously the continued production of the anime we love. So after that long, no, rather short-winded intro, let's get straight into the facts, and maybe some of my opinions regarding those facts. Of course, you're welcome to interpret this information differently than me, but how I'm putting it down is how I'm putting it down. We're going to be starting with ABEMA, which is a Japanese streaming service. Per Oricon News from ABEMA's official TikTok account, ReZero was ranked as number 1 among teenage audiences during the winter 2025 season, even against heavy hitters like Solo Leveling and Apothecary Diaries. I'll add a little bit of more information regarding ReZero's demographics later, as there was a report done by MyAnimeList that reports a lot of information for that. My conclusion on this section is that ReZero can definitely hold its own against some of the most popular anime out there. To clarify, this is a Japanese streaming service we're talking about at the moment. As, at least from my general impression, shows like Solo Leveling are definitely more popular in the West, given the type of show it is. However, I definitely feel that ReZero matches up more with something like Apothecary Diaries, another amazing show that I recommend you guys check out as well. Now for MyAnimeList, we're going to be discussing a few things. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen a trend over time where generally, even the more popular shows don't get nearly as many members as they had years prior. Now, I want to say this because, let me clarify again, this is my opinion. If I'm mistaken, please tell me what you think, because I could just be coping, but I do not believe it proper to attribute a decreased member count over the last season to a general decrease in popularity for ReZero. This seems to be a trend for largely most shows out there, even top-of-the-ticket shows like Solo Leveling and Apothecary Diaries. Yes, I'm mentioning them again, sorry. It just aired in the same season, and they have about the same amount of users. Moving on from that, I want to discuss more about the demographics we talked about earlier. ReZero's audience is overwhelmingly young people, with 50% of the members being within the 16 to 24 age group. I can partially confirm this myself because although it probably isn't as valid, that most of our viewers fall within the same age bracket. This makes a lot of sense given the nature of the story and Subaru's personal journey, centering on the struggles of the younger generations. However, an unfortunate thing about these demographics is the other half. To put it straight, the male audience, especially in comparison to other shows, is in the high majority of 87.6%. And I must mainly attribute this to ReZero's lackluster marketing. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely other factors, but I don't think there would be that much of a disparity if ReZero didn't market itself in such a stupid way that doesn't actually reflect the show. But in the end, what can you do? Lastly in this section, I wanted to talk about something that doesn't really matter, but it's annoying nonetheless. That being review bombing. If you take a look at the stats page on MyAnimeList, you can see the anomaly of statistics. Ratings do not normally follow this distribution, at least to this severity. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. A rating doesn't change how much I love the series. This is just some food for thought. Now, before we move on, I'd like to take a break to request that you subscribe to our channel. It would help us out a lot, and we're going to be doing a lot more mixed anime, manga, video game content. But our main focus is ReZero and Persona. So if you're a fan of either of those two, I recommend sticking around, because there'll be a lot more where that came from. Anime Trending and Anime Corner are 2 weekly ratings based on shows in each season. They take votes on things like top anime of the week, season, and year, with several other categories like characters and music. etc. If you were following along with the last season and even the fall season, ReZero ranked consistently on top, week after week, contending even against some of the most popular shows out at the time. Even after 9 years, ReZero definitely has its staying power. Next, I want to go over TV Analytics, which collects data from social media engagement and search engines. It offers some pretty cool metrics. For example, it offers a travelability score, which shows a disparity between the level of popularity in the country of origin and the country in question. For the United States, ReZero has a 60% travelability score, meaning that ReZero is about 60% as popular as it is in the United States. Now, for these other numbers, it's based on data within the last 30 days. But ReZero still boasts an impressive score. Now, for a base of comparison, yes. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not obsessed with solo leveling, but the circumstances just help with the basis of comparison. But as I speculated earlier, it has an 80% travelability score to the US, and their demand multiplier, all being a little different, fall within the same bracket. But ReZero still stands on its own. I'm not going to mention Apothecary Diaries for this one, because although its travelability score makes sense at 50%, it would be unfair to compare the demand multiplier because the show is still airing. To wrap up our final section, I just wanted to point out something that I found to be pretty cool. On IMDb, ReZero is listed as having 37 total awards, from places like Crunchyroll, Anime Trending, etc., which is the second highest award count out of all anime, being beat out by only Attack on Titan. In conclusion, is ReZero a mainstream anime? Well, in terms of Western markets, I'd say not quite. I feel it's a bit outside of it. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave that up to you. But in my opinion, it is a thing, as there are both good and bad parts about that quality. But I guess the bad thing is about, I'm saying, is that this is going to happen no matter what. It's just the magnitude of shittiness, that being the misinterpretation to the series. Like I said, this shit is going to happen no matter what. So what's the point in not wanting the show to be mainstream? I'd honestly love to see ReZero in more spaces. If I have to deal with looking at a stupid take, so be it, who cares? I see that on the regular from those who claim to be huge fans of the series. Honestly, as I've said, the only actual reason to care about how popular ReZero is its continued adaptation and potential addition of things like EX adaptations, side stories, as Tappei stated himself, that the people need to make their voices heard if they want to see the adaptations of these books in the future. Yeah, I know people want if story adaptations too, but those aren't really important and I don't really care about them anyway. And more merch. Please, 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 I need more Subaru merch. Can we actually present the show for what it is instead of appeal to a certain group of people? Don't get me wrong, you could do that. Not everything has to be done in a way that I like it. But at least give me a crumb of these characters. One of each, that's all I'm asking for. I'd be saying the same thing if it were the other way around. I want balance, bro. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say. If you have something to add or disagree, be nice. Comment it down below. Thank you for watching. I made this video because I wanted to bring some stuff to the table that people didn't necessarily talk about before. If you like how I wrote this video, or enjoy ReZero content, I recommend subscribing to the channel. And you should check out some of our other videos as well. Anyway, that's all. Thank you.